Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, buddy. You're muted. First day back.
Yep, I'm out of practice. Dude, it's like old times. We rocked this show for quite a while, just you and I, and the show is definitely in a better place with Brandy and Jamie involved, but
100%.
But game
and
on.
Now our hotel crew.
Now our hotel crew. But last week you and I were out. Jamie and Brandy ran the show. So we're going to have a little contest behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Who's going to have the larger download week? So we have a lot of news. We've got a lot of hashtags and
a lot of hot takes. A lot of hot takes.
Not about hot takes. It's just reporting the news.
Hey, I got some hot takes. I got a rant ready. I've been saving this one up all weekend. So,
oh Lord.
It's going to be good.
The views of these hosts are held individually, not as a group.
Do not come after us. If you do, I'll personally take my full responsibility for the claims or statements that I make. But dude, no, before we jump into the episode, I know we have a lot to cover today, but we have two kind of housekeeping items I want to address really quick. One is welcome back, man. Welcome Elliot James, your newest boy. The newest golden son to the world. So excited to see the family's growing, man. How has it been with the newborn again?
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone that's had a newborn knows exactly how it's going. We are almost 2 weeks into it now. So he's 13 days old. And it's about like you expect. It's sleeping, pooping, eating.
A little bit of crying.
It all over again. It is a little bit easier the second time around so far, but we've only just begun. And if you're watching live and see the bags under my eyes, that explains it.
Well, if you're also watching live, we want to showcase some love for our third co-host, Brandy, as it's her birthday today. So she is off celebrating. And so for anyone tuning into the live, one, tell us where you're tuning in from. We want to hear. Our hotel crew gets a wide range of listeners from all over the world on their lives, so we want to do the same thing, but also wish her a happy birthday. She is incredible to work with. As Michael said, we are in a much better place on the show with her and Jamie on the team. So happy birthday to Brandy. You're amazing. And thanks for being a part of the show.
Happy birthday, Brandy. And then one of my dear friends and advisors, Rob Patterson, also happy birthday to you, sir.
Ooh, Rob Patterson. Happy birthday, my man. He does support the show. I see some comments every now and then. So very exciting. We have a couple other lists for the sponsorships and our partners. We want to shout out Sojo and TravelNet Solutions, and it was really fun. As I was out last week from the podcast, it was due to me being sick. I had a sinus infection post pretty much TravelNet's conference called Next, but it was a great conference, and we've dropped some bonus episodes for you guys. So if you haven't heard some of those micro interviews from the TravelNet Solutions conference, then check them out. But also get ready for this amazing housekeeper happy hour giveaway. I'm super excited that Sojo has come up with this, and so we're gearing up for VRMA, which means we're gearing up to announce the winner of that happy hour giveaway. So make sure you get your sample kit. They're amazing. Let me get that in the shot. Boom. These are beautiful. Great sample kits. Thanks to Sojo. Wow, I can't talk today.
We've got a number of signups already kicking in, so let the games begin.
Seriously. And then one last final comment before we get into today's topics on capital funding, mergers, acquisitions, and of course layoffs. But we just want to say our thoughts and prayers are out to everyone in Israel due to the attacks that are happening from, I think it's Gaza. I could be wrong, but yeah, Gaza and from Hamas. So it's really sad to see what's going on, and the team has been chatting about it. And if there's anything we can do, we would love to help, but I know it's kind of a a crazy time. So our thoughts and prayers are out to everyone involved and impacted by this. So, Michael, my friend, you ready to cover some of our favorite topics?
Yeah, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly
Yeah.
today. So let's start with the good. Start on a high note. Monday, best day of the week. We haven't said that yet.
Best day of the week.
Usually one of you guys says it before I can get to it. But yeah, we had a slew or a flurry of funding announcements over the past week. Will, I know yours and my dear friend, Mr. Andrew Bate, has brought in some more cash. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, let's jump in. So Andrew Bate and the team at Safely brought in another $8 million into Safely. If you haven't heard of Safely, then check out some of our Barcelona episodes when we were at Scale Rentals. But Safely is a great insurtech product. Personally, with my vacation rental management company, we use Safely. They protect our home, they protect our guests, and then of course the contents inside of the home. So those pesky potential pillow stains from makeup smears and all the other stuff, that's all covered with Safely, and they're bringing in more cash to continue to develop the product. And that's just really good to see that the team is getting to deploy some more capital there. So really excited for them, and congrats.
And then on the InsurTech, there is a company that took an undisclosed amount of money, but I think this company is really interesting. Sensible Weather. They're a climate risk technology is what they describe themselves, but they basically ensure good weather on guest stays. So guests can opt to pay for insurance, and that insurance, if it rains that day or has inclement weather, that guest will get the entire night's stay back deposited that morning. So there's no questions. There's no going back and forth like a typical insurance claim. It happens automatically. They know if it rained or not in the market that you're in. And I think it's the coolest thing ever. Like if you're going to South Florida during hurricane season, you want to make sure you're not going to get, dumped on rain every day. It's South Florida. Yeah. It's going to rain almost every day for like 30 minutes or an hour, but
3 p.m., 3:30, 3 p.m., one of those times.
But I think this is just the coolest piece of insurance that somebody could add. Next up, there's a couple companies in this space, but I'm a fan of Dharma. Dharma raised $4.7 million recently. What they do is plan and sell trips hosted by well-known people and brands. They're basically flipping the traditional travel agent model on its head. And instead of having to spend marketing dollars, they go out and find influencers that will promote your trip, your stay. And that influencer basically advertises it to their audience. So it is hyper niche, hyper focused on conversions from influencers and social media. And that piece, historically people say social media doesn't convert, but there's people betting $4.7 million that it does. So I'm a big fan of that. Can't wait to see where Dharma takes it.
I agree. And for Alondra, Michael, do you know if Sensible is just US only right now, or are they spread out throughout different countries?
I don't believe they've expanded into Europe yet. I do think they might do Canada as well. So let's call it North America.
Gotcha. Good. All right, cool. And so we also have another little bit of a funding announcement from Inspirato. So they just currently raised $25 million to solidify a strategic partnership with Capital One Ventures. So I think we saw, Michael, remind me, I might need a refresher on this from, I don't know how many episodes ago, but basically going over when we covered the stock price with why am I struggling? Sonder and Vacasa, but then also Inspirato was kind of hurting as well. So I think this capital fund or this raise that they just did probably going to help, try to get more sustainable. I'm hoping
it shores up the coffers. It basically, I don't know the exact thought behind it, but my guess is that just from an Inspirata standpoint, it makes shareholders comfortable that the company is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
So good luck to the shareholders. It's another one of those stocks that that opened and went straight down, and it's been down ever since. So it's in the same category as Sonder and Vicasa, but they, with another 25 million injected in the company, that's definitely a good sign from external parties that people are willing to back it, and it's got long-term legs.
Yeah, and it's cool to see Capital One continuing to invest in the industry. I will share some thoughts on why it's good that they're continuing to invest, because it sounds like maybe their previous investments in one company is not doing very well. So it'll be good to see that that Capital One's still feeling bullish on travel and hospitality as a good place to put their venture dollars. So I'm excited for that. I don't know what that means, but
Muse is the next
yeah.
piece of good news, not to be no pun intended, Muse news. Do you want to jump into that one?
Yeah. So Muse, good company on the space. They've been someone I've been watching for a while, probably 2019, early 2020, pre-pandemic. But Muse acquired an AI company called Nomi, which is exciting because I think they were based in Nashville. So we had a little bit of a stillness in the market, I would think, or I would say from the amount of capital coming in, like early 2021. Michael, you and I felt like every episode we're covering capital raise. And it was like company raises money, companies acquired. Not a ton of acquisitions, but it's good to see that the activity is kind of coming back. And for the listeners, FYI, like selfish or shameless plug, you can find out more funding and more activity that we're reporting on in our Good Morning Capital report. So that's coming out later this week, but we'll have more actual companies and listings of funding and other activities happening in that newsletter. So make sure you subscribe anywhere you get your podcast, but also go to goodmorninghospitality.com and you can get the newsletter there. All right, Michael, this is my favorite topic. I've been waiting for this one. I'm geared up.
I wouldn't say it's a favorite topic. It's
favorite.
Not
words are hard this morning.
Not an exciting topic to cover.
Yeah, no, but I have some thoughts, and I want to.
We'll let you get into the hot takes that are your opinions and your opinions only. But along with the good news in the industry, we've certainly seen some bad news happen. Layoffs continue to happen, especially across some of the bigger organizations in the space. Evolve out of Denver cut 175 heads recently. Hopper cut 30% of their staff, so approximately 300 heads. And then V-Trips, it's a shame anytime layoffs happen, they cut 9% or 75 heads approximately. But it also, you can't be out there kind of bashing other people about their layoffs and then do it yourself. So,
or trying to hide it.
Yeah, look, it happens. A lot of companies have had to do layoffs, and that's the sad truth of the state of short-term rentals, especially right now. So thoughts with all you folks that are out there looking. Hopefully we can find some good landing places soon. #better talent. Feel free to reach out to them, and hopefully they can help you find a new home soon.
Yeah, agreed. This is again, probably wasn't the best choice of words on my part. Favorite topic is not the way to describe layoffs, but I will say this is going to go into the topic where this is, again, my opinion. Maybe not the whole team on the show agrees, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty anti-Hopper. And so to see that Hopper does this whole like post Expedia breakup, we're fine. We're not impacted by the lack of inventory now on our platform. And then goes into layoffs to then claim they're trying to become more profitable now, and that they weren't impacted though by the Expedia breakup. And then they but they come out saying that they broke up with Booking.com, most likely to prevent a public breakup like Expedia did, and to save the embarrassment there. But I say Hopper, in my opinion, is completely. And so, with that being said, I don't think Hopper is a platform that's going to be around much longer. Hence why I said from that Inspirato funding, because in that article that I was reading, it does say strategic partnership. So, I think the investment from Capital One and any other investors, that is not playing out well for them. It's good that they're investing in other companies and not just platforms. They're investing in a couple other things. I've looked at their investments, and it's nice that they're not afraid to continue to pour money into this industry. So especially after having a company like Hopper completely just go down the tank from billions of dollars in valuation to. So again, this
Yeah.
is my opinion, but I just think
The,
they're full of it.
the interesting piece is that Capital One invested a bunch into Hopper, and Hopper, I believe, powers the Capital One travel.
It does.
What's interesting is that Hopper was getting a lot of their inventory from Expedia and Booking. So who is actually powering the Capital One travel? I guess there's just a middleman and a middleman.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, look, it's again, anytime people lose jobs isn't great. Hopper's raised, I could be wrong on this, but I think I'm looking at the right number, $730 million. And that's a lot of money. And they certainly were kind of the belle of the ball 2 years ago as everything seemed to be clicking. But it does seem to feel like everything's falling apart right now. There hasn't been any good news, and it could just be, maybe Skift doesn't like the Hopper team, and so they're covering all the bad stuff.
I'm with Skift.
Let's be somewhat objective. We don't have all the numbers. We haven't seen any underneath the hood or anything, but there certainly is not a whole lot of positive news coming out. And the breakup with Booking seemed a little petty.
Sorry to cut you off, but then to also, announce that, or basically discover that the Homes platform or the Homes department is completely cut. And so not only did their layoffs have to do with, just regular employees in the day to day, but the Homes people now either let go or move into the hotel sector. It's just crazy. And like the fact that like they got broken up with by Expedia because of the lack of trust on the traveler. Now there's a big lack of trust on the vendor or the inventory side, because none of the vacation rental managers got notice. Like none of them, all of them found out through that media kind of spree as well. So,
so we found out from Skift's article, maybe Skift was wrong. I don't think they are. But it does seem a bit sus, as the young kids would say. Look at that. See, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm using these fun words. Seems a bit odd or off that they would essentially fire and or reassign all their Homes folks to other roles without then telling their partners. I think if the ship's going down, you kind of gotta steer into it, and without letting anybody know what's going on, speculation's going to spread like wildfire. You got to get out ahead of it. And to credit of some other folks, Verbo, for example, they leaned into very heavily, and then you can back off. Delta did the same. They leaned in heavy, and then you can back off a little bit. You might upset some people and some partners, but then you can take it back in the right direction and build that trust versus like, what's going on? What do we do? Should we turn off that channel? Should we keep it open? I'm not, according to Brandy, they weren't getting a whole lot of bookings from Hopper Homes anyway. So it's not going to be a big hit to too many people likely, but nonetheless, you put in all the effort and to get listed and get up on it, you're at least kind of do the courtesy of an update on what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and the way that these employees found out about their layoff too was like the moment they're all in this like town hall, and then they get a phone call that lasts maybe 2 minutes, and then they see their friends and their coworkers and colleagues disappearing on Slack. without notice, like just boom, gone, gone, gone. I read the article. It's juicy. Like the layoffs were not anything of true character. That was like, yeah. Anyway, so I think the way that all of this has been done, it's been poor business on Hopper. Um, and yeah, just going into the trust factor. And the one thing I've really learned from our conversation with Sam Shank, building an app or a travel OTA, the trust with the traveler is super important. Being able to make that relationship, especially as an unknown entity, and now you have all this competition with other types of OTAs, that trust piece is so important, and being able to be a good product that actually works and does what they say they're going to do without adding all these junk fees and all this other stuff at the end. Um, Sam kind of talked about, the super importance of making that super easy and super transparent, while also making sure that you're taking care of your vendors and the inventory, building those relationships. I know he said he built the product in 10 weeks, but still the iterations after and the business and the relationship piece was so important in their success that I think Hopper is just, I think maybe the funding and the valuation went straight to their head and didn't
Yeah,
actually, yeah.
that's a great point. You don't want to take shortcuts, short-term gain to essentially lose long-term trust.
Mhm.
And it might be tempting. It's probably extremely tempting when you've raised $750 million and you have
Yeah.
insane metrics that you have to hit. Then it's very tempting to take shortcuts. But build your business on firm ground with trust. Try not to take shortcuts. It does pay off in the long run. Look, I'm in the middle of it right now. It can be
Yeah.
hard in the short term, but in the long term, it pays off. And we're starting to see the fruits of our labor come around, and it's a wonderful thing when it does. So trust in travel is everything. It really
Yeah.
does matter. And looking at how Hopper cut their folks versus how Airbnb, we've certainly criticized Airbnb a time or two on the show, and
Mhm.
when Airbnb had to do layoffs, they did it extremely well.
Yeah.
As good as you could in a bad situation. So yeah, it's been an interesting piece. I'm very curious to see what happens with the Holmes group. I mean,
Mhm.
Hopper was the belle of the ball 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, I'm one that had high expectations. I thought if anybody was going to take on the incumbents, the Booking, Expedia, and Airbnbs, it was going to be them. But the strong are powerful and they're mighty, and they're not. They're happy to break up with you if it means
Yeah.
taking you down. And we've seen Expedia and Booking both play hardball. So you another important lesson: don't build the backs of your company on someone else's, because
Yeah.
if you do, there's just so much risk there.
100%. Now the big thing I think, and to also make a disclaimer on this episode, this show isn't about bashing OTAs. I know we talk a lot about the OTAs. We mentioned Airbnb a lot. We go through Vrbo, Expedia, Booking, all these guys, right? This isn't what the show is about, but they do make a big wave in what's happening in our industry. So now with Hopper kind of crumbling, the rise and fall of Hopper, now with Expedia with their one key program, and then of course Amex getting into the game with their homes division, and really, which we're going to have more on in the future for the show. We'll have some cool stuff in the future around that, but these are going to be the things that we're going to have to watch now. Like the Amex program is going to be really key. I'm really actually intrigued to see how that plays out, because a lot of our friends in the industry who have inventory listed on all these sites, right? They said they weren't getting a ton of traction on Hopper, but maybe, I want to see what they're going to get on Amex. Is Amex like providing a better traveler? Is it providing a better customer that spends more dollars? I would assume so, but that can't always be the assumption, knowing the demographic of Amex users versus Capital One. So I'm excited to kind of see this play out in that sense in regard, because the platform that brings a better guest at a better volume and like overall spend, that's going to be the company that really kind of, I would say, becomes the new belle of the ball, as you said, Michael.
Well, I'm not going to take quite as harsh of a stance on Hopper. I wouldn't count them totally out. They're going through a moment similar to how Airbnb went through a moment of redirecting, cutting off all of the distractions on the peripheries and doubling down on what your core market is. And Hopper probably extended themselves too quickly, too much too quickly. And maybe they can, I'm sure they still have tens of millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank to figure everything out. But it's certainly a reset moment, and Airbnb had 100 different things going on and then during COVID, they kind of reset, and they're a lot stronger for it right now. And their stock price is evidence of that. So let's see what happens. I'm not maybe as doomsday-ish as you are with Hopper, but it certainly seems like Hopper Homes is done for at least the time being, but possibly for a long time. But yeah, man, it's, we kind of expected the good at the beginning of the show to come out this week, next week, all ahead of Verma. Didn't quite expect the bad. Typically it'd be, you're waiting till after conference season and rumor mill season to announce the bad, but sometimes you just can't wait. So thoughts and prayers with all those in Israel, thoughts and prayers with all those whose jobs were affected. But then, congrats, massive congrats to Safely, Dharma, Sensible, Inspirato, Nomi. So I think, with the bad comes the good.
Yeah. And look, we still have another week or two before VRMA. So I think we will definitely have the opportunity to hear more good. I think people are probably all trying to wait to pull the trigger right before, as we saw, I think, Michael, when you and I were recording an episode in the hallway with Michael Ross back in the day at San Antonio VRMA. We got a lot of stories that day, right? So it was I'm like, I can assume we can probably expect the same thing for this year. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I'm excited for us really quick because not only is it today's Brandy's birthday, we also have Good Morning Hospitality's birthday coming up next week. We're 3 years old. So this has been an exciting milestone. Last year we were at our second birthday together at the Book Direct show in Miami, all three of us, and now we get to celebrate this 3-year birthday with our hotel crew and Jamie. And yeah, I'm just excited to continue to watch the show grow. So thank you to all of our listeners and our fans that continue to support and message us. And yeah, Michael Scott from Castiola texts me every time he listens in. He said he has a permanent calendar block on Monday mornings for this debut in the live stream. So shout out to you guys that make the show such a high priority in your list. It means a lot to us. And I know we'll have more things to share and announce here soon, but we'll be one of those ones waiting to the last minute till Verma to shout from the rooftops.
And we got a pretty big announcement next week too. So
yeah.
Tight.
Pretty big. All right, Michael. So quick, we got 2 minutes. We're actually under time today. We're under our normal 30-minute mark. So it's super great. What are you excited about? What's going on in the world with Storied? Kind of give the listeners a sneak peek.
Yeah, we keep getting some incredible leads from really top-notch organizations to host their events. Some hush VIP big name people, some massive weddings, and we keep signing up properties. So it takes time. You got to build that trust. You can't build a brand overnight, but it feels good. Things are starting to piece together.
Yeah, being a founder, growing a family, doing all the things, running a podcast, you're just all over the place, man. I love it though.
I was speaking with somebody last week, and I said, yeah, my family's growing. He's like, what'd you start another company? I was like, well, I mean, that plus another child. So Yeah, it's been a hectic time in the Golden household.
I feel you. Well, we're here to support, man. You guys are killing it. We love seeing baby pictures on the group chat. So keep those coming. Elliot is a cutie, so and he's a big boy too. So I was like, dang, you guys got a handful with a big golden nugget right there.
He's a heifer.
And yeah, I love it. Well, sweet man. Glad to see you again. We missed you, and to Brandy and Jamie who are probably watching the replay. Game on the excuse me here really quick. I'm losing my voice. Game on the download competition on the back end. We'll see whose episodes did better. And of course, to all of our loyal listeners, like always, we'll see you again next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, get on our newsletter so you can see other updates and other announcements. And don't forget, you have one more week to get that free complimentary happy hour for your housekeeping team, as long as you sign up for a sample kit with Sojo. So grab that link in the show notes or on our social media channels, and we'll see you all next Monday.